Welcome to the Live Awakened podcast. I am your host, Jose Reynoso. I am excited to share with you this upcoming interview with Matias de Stefano. Maybe you know Matias de Stefano from the epic show Initiation on Gaia. My partner and I know many of my dear friends, we've been all hooked on the show for the past year. During lockdown times, it's been definitely a great source of inspiration, of knowledge, to discover ancient civilization, to remember why are we here, and to also get a glimpse into what it looked like living in ancient Atlantean times. Matias de Stefano has been traveling the world since age 19, and he's been activating grids in the earth. He's been unlocking powerful information for the whole humanity to remember, to awaken to its highest potential. During our last trip in Egypt, my partner and I, Bianca, we were able to meet with Matias after a break while visiting the Great Pyramid of Giza. Matias de Stefano, believe it or not, he's been going almost every single day to the Great Pyramid of Giza. Bianca and I, we spent 3 days going every morning for about an hour, and it's unbelievable, the energy there. We were exhausted after just one day. Matias de Stefano has been doing it every single day, and then in the afternoon he's been doing live channelings on his YouTube channel. We sat down with him during a break and we discussed why do some people remember, why some other people are under the illusion that they don't remember, his upbringing with his parents, with his family. Attention parents, if you have kids and you want to support them in remembering, he has good advice. And also how his emotions have been able to support him to navigate this 3D reality. But most importantly, we touch upon the topic of having fun, of clearing the mind through non-ordinary methods. You'll be impressed, his suggestions to clear the mind. And also how to really find your purpose. This is an exciting interview. I'll leave it with it. If you like it, subscribe to the channel, share the interview, and don't forget to be epic. Live awakened. Well, Matias, thank you for giving us some of your precious time here in Giza.
Thank you.
When we learned that you were here and the work you were doing, which we'll talk about it in a bit later, I was really excited to connect. As we were talking before during breakfast, I always feel that you're so relatable. It's not like this demigod that like with crazy information. It's still crazy information, but it feels like it's all within us, and it's information that we can apply here and now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I think today's conversation is so relevant, because we're living in a time where it's not enough to know, it's how to apply it. And like hearing your story and seeing you do it all around the world, you're really applying those cosmic and ancient concepts in our land. So thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Perhaps we can start just to give a bit of context if people haven't already followed you on Gaia and all the other places that you appear. But you are here on a very specific mission. You've been visiting the King's Chamber and the Big Pyramid here and doing this galactical work. And you're saying, yes, I'm following my mission here. And so it'd be interesting to share when you became aware of that mission and what exactly that mission entails right now, in whatever way you want to create that.
Yeah, well, basically, everything that I do is because I remember. Since I was born, I was able to remember everything that I've done before I was born. And the beings from other dimensions, they were teaching me how to use that information, how to somehow be aware of it during my childhood and teenagehood. And when I was 12 years old, I started to remember this place, Giza, in a very different way from what it is now. And I knew that I had something to do here that encodes my whole life, my entire life, but many things were happening through all my life that took me to this path of education, and I wanted to become a teacher in school, because I wanted to help other kids that were remembering like I did. And I went to Argentina. I was living in Spain at that time, and I went back to Argentina to study again, to become a pedagogue in schools. But the path took me to another place to study another pedagogy and another ways of teaching, and people started to be willing to listen my point of view of what I know, and suddenly everything started to be in YouTube. People started to upload what I was explaining about education, because of course when people start to ask about these new kids, I start to explain them about the dimensions. So they said, what is a dimension? So I started to explain dimension and so on. So suddenly I was talking to teachers basically for their classes, but suddenly I started to speak about the universe and galaxies and so on, so they could understand their kids. So it turned a bit weird, but it designed kind of the path of my. Sorry, it designed the path of my mission, so basically these past years I've been teaching people or sharing most with people about the knowledge that we all have within, that we all relate with the concept of the I am. And since 2015 I started to make this path of the I am, trying to reconnect all these memories, all this information to that concept, so we could all relate that there is nothing outside, that everything comes from within. But what is that within? Because usually we think Matias or people, but no, it's something deeper that is only one. So I decided to do this, but my mission since I was 12 years old was you have to do this from here, from Giza. So since July this year, I've been, many things happened, but since July this year, I've been here, and every day or sometimes every week I go to the pyramid to make alignments, meditation, and bring some data and information for that day and write it. And I am doing every day an online live streaming, explaining the concept that I received in the pyramid and an alignment, so we can work together during this period of time. So kind of a summary, but many things happen.
Yeah, I bet there's so many layers within that
Yes.
summary. But I'm like, you were explaining that right now, and I'm like, do we know anybody else that has gone almost every day to the pyramid consistently? I think like
Here they say no.
they say no, right? Yeah, because like I can. Yeah, wow, that's something.
Yeah, there was 1 month that I had to stop.
Yeah.
Because my body was saying no. My mind and my soul was like, hey, today we have to go. And my body started to feel sick, so not to go. But then I understood that it was not the pyramid. It was because my body wasn't feeling comfortable with the environment of the pyramid. It's not a holy place anymore.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
chaotic place.
Yeah.
And kind of like my body was, I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
So I had to respect the body and to take care of it for a while until we got in coherence again.
Yeah, wow, that's
Yes.
something. So, going back to how you started that remembrance, why do some like you remember, and why most people don't remember yet? What defines, what is it, like good deeds in the past life? Is it karma? Why like some people remember and some people seems that they've completely forgotten?
There are many things going on there. I would go first for the easiest one, which is everyone remembers, but then the culture says it's your imagination. And so you start to put all the things that you can feel, connect, perceive into your imagination. And I met a lot of people saying, well, maybe it's my imagination, or maybe it's just I am painting all this. And that cuts the flow of the information, because everything that you can remember is in your mind. There's no other way but imagination. Everything that if I ask you right now, what have you done when you were 7 years old, you will have to imagine, not remember. By imagining, you remember. So when we were younger, when we were kids, we were able to remember that we could fly, that we could do this and that we have lived in different situations, and we were dads and moms, and you had this information inside. But the culture says this is your imagination. Now you have to live in this reality and so on. So kind of you cut it, and you don't trust your imagination, because since you were a kid, you were said not to trust your imagination. So we were so forced to believe in the outer world that we don't trust the inner world. And that's one of the things why people don't remember. I had a very special environment in my home. Everyone was atheist or agnostic. No religion, no talking about anything, about all these things. It was very normal. I have never gone to the church, never gone into any spirituality at all. But I could see all these other beings. And for my family it was, oh, you had a lot of imagination. You know, like, so write it down or tell me the story. So I was not said, don't say these things. Like, tell me more, or, you know, make a drawing of it. And the beings in the other dimensions, they were very pedagogic too. They were teaching me how to remember that this is all a dream, and so I had help from both sides. But this is the other thing, because I was prepared to remember through my past lives, my experiences, my missions, and the reflections of time. I needed to remember this life so I could do what I do. So kind of I was preparing myself through many years before I was born, so I could be able to remember. Because it was my mission. And for most of the people, if you remember everything, it won't help you to accomplish your mission. Because when you know what you have to do, the less you can do is to wait for it. And sometimes when you just remember, you want to do it and you don't have the tools. So your life is about to have the tools, to take the tools to accomplish your mission. If you know what is your mission, you won't take the tools because you want to do it now. And that's a problem. So that's why also not remembering is a help for a lot of people to accomplish.
I remember you in an interview that you said that your family was agnostic, or atheist, but your grandma started asking you questions, right? When she started to ask you questions, like she was curious about this connection you had. But she did say...
The sister of my grandmother, of my grandfather.
Oh, grandfather. But she said, thank God your grandfather is not alive, because he would not accept that, right?
That was my grandma. Yeah, because basically because my grandfather, he grew up with Nazis.
Okay.
Yes, because all the Nazis after the World War II, they went to Argentina, most of them. Yeah. So he was a kid, and he played with them, with the other ones. So he grew up with this very agnostic idea and really racist and all these Nazi things. And when I started to remember, I remember the spiritual world, but also remember the Jewish and the importance of these people in the planet, and and I started to speak about it, and I wanted to go to Israel and all these things, and I wanted to share all this, and my grandmother said, thanks God your grandfather is dead.
I can see that.
Because you are everything that he would say no.
So yes.
So
as you said, like some remember, some don't. That most people remember in some sort of way, but they've been told it's just an imagination or whatnot. And I'll go into the imagination part. But what are some tools that really help you navigate this remembering? Because I guess there's moments of overwhelm when you start to get all this information
Yes.
coming. You know, like you're like, wow, like you're like 7 years old and you start to get all this information. What were like the key elements, tools, as you said, to be able to navigate?
Well, my guides used to tell me that all the information is downloaded in a human through emotion, because emotion is the wave of energy. So all the data moves through energy, and emotion is energy. So the only way you can understand an information is through the emotion. So they would tell me, your body feels an emotion that doesn't belong to you. It's just an information that doesn't know, that your body doesn't know how to decode it if it is not by emotion. So if you don't know how to handle your emotion, you will become crazy. It will become crazy, like schizophrenia, because that's the main thing of that disease, is not to know how to handle your inner self. So they would say, write down everything that you just received, make a drawing, write everything, and then close it. And don't think about it. Just let it go. Go to your normal life and don't pay attention to this. Put your mind in blank after you receive information. Don't start to try to understand it, because your emotion is still awake. You need time for the emotion to go down so you can understand it with the mind. So I learned to not to think about anything that I receive. I learned that not to put mind in the moment I am receiving the information. You just write it down, close it, and now it doesn't make any sense. So most of the people, when people start to remember, to have this data, this information, you start to get crazy, because what does it mean, and how can I relate it, and then the emotion keeps going, and suddenly it becomes part of you when it was not part of you, when it was just data. And your body gets stressed and you get crazy and all these things. So what I learned is not to take care of the information that I received. Just write it down and close. Then, go to take some ice cream.
That's it.
Get a walk and not to think about it. They used to tell me, just watch the wall, the white wall, and try to look an atom inside of it. So go for an atom. So go deeper and deeper until you kind of think that you are watching an atom. And then you throw everything there, like nothing. Everything is in that tiny dot that you cannot even see. So that's the weight of what you have received. Nothing. So that takes a lot of weight, because this is one of the things why I used to say there are so many Cleopatras in the history. Like so many people remembering the same things, and they believe they are. Like you believe,
yes.
I was this person. Oh, and you know that they did. But because the data is not only for one person, it's a whole. It's like internet. So if you are tuned with that data, it will download through you. But this is like going to the same website.
I think you were saying something about like the Akashic records being like a library.
Yes.
You can take the book, but remember to put it back.
Exactly.
Not to keep it, like, oh, this
It's a public
is
library.
It's public library, yeah.
So it's not your books.
Yeah.
It's a public library. So when you receive some information, it's not yours. It's It's from everyone. So when you download that information and you just hold the book and say, oh my God, the book says Cleopatra, and they say, I was Cleopatra. No, it's a public library, you know. So everyone can go and look for the book of Cleopatra, and if you want to have the book, everyone will say, I was Cleopatra. So that's emotion, and that's why also we shut up that memory, because we have to, when you put the book back into the library, it's like putting your mind in blank. Again, like saying, okay, I got this information, but it doesn't belong to me. And that's the most important thing, that it helped me to survive the expectations of what I was or what I would be. Yes.
Almost sounds like our human self, or your human self, needs time to integrate all that, you know, because if you try to understand as you get the information, you overwhelm and probably stressed. And yeah, we see that with so many sensitive people, no, that there's like all this information and they're trying to make sense when you will never be able to make sense. You need to like look at the atom at the wall.
Yeah, exactly.
Exhale.
And breathe in, breathe out, and that's it. And then the reality, this reality, will show you the reflection of that information whenever you need it to watch it again. So it's like that thing that you received is for this. So now you go, take the data and start to think about it. You know, but not before, because in the fourth dimension and the fifth dimension, there's no time as we see it now. So if I receive this information now, maybe it's for 5 years in the future. It's not for now. Myself, I've been receiving data from what I'm doing now since I was 11 years old.
Oh, wow.
So I wouldn't be able to do this when I was 12.
Yeah.
But now I get a lot of things that happened when I was 12.
You understand.
Yes.
A big word is coming
So
to me right now.
interesting.
Patience. You know, like we try
Patience.
to like we get. Oh, I gotta download. I need to go right now to Egypt. But you're 11. No, like breathe through it. There will be the time that will surface, and you will know when. Right.
It takes time to practice that because we are emotional beings, and the emotion is impulsive and wants everything right now and wants to do. But that's one of the jobs. Whenever that emotion comes, take a deep breath and try to see an atom. So I was one in Colombia with the arhuacos.
Arhuacos, sí, los mamos, arhuacos.
The mamos, and one of them said, when you come from the world with so much information, before you have the real talk, you just look into the ground, watch deep into the grass, and bring all this data, all this information to the earth, for the earth to take care of it. And then we can have a real conversation. So that's kind of the same.
Wow.
When I heard the mamo saying that, I remember my guide saying, look at an atom in the wall.
Yeah, I was just connecting those two. Yeah.
Yes, so I guess it's like this.
Oh, wow.
It's so interesting. It's really interesting. And
Empty your mind.
Into your mind.
I know it's difficult because you say, but how? How can you empty your mind? Well, a lot of people start with meditation. I wouldn't do that because our brain is used to process too much information constantly, even the information that we don't think about, like I'm looking the green of the grass, and the brain is processing the green. I don't do anything, so it's just normal. But there's so many things that the brain is doing, that one of the things that you have to make to see the right thing behind is to make your mind tired. So there's a moment when your mind says, I can't take more data, I can take more information. And it's funny, but for me it was useful. There are two ways, one very earthy and the other one very spiritual. Well, not very spiritual, but kind of. The one spiritual was the ayahuasca. The ayahuasca ceremony helped the mind to say, oh, too much. Shut up. Because it just can't hold so many information. So then you can see the right thing. You know, so it's good for that. And the other thing is going to a rave, like electronic music and all the people jumping and all the music constantly. Your brain starts like, I can't get so much things. So so I would always recommend to, for example, go to a bar with a lot of people, a lot of noise, many things to take care about, and just watch a spoon in the table. And doesn't matter what happened, just try to focus on the spoon and listen to all the noises, all the chaos around. Just pay attention to all of that, but not looking at it. Just look in the spoon. And that helps your mind to see, okay, there's chaos around, but I am focused. So like a training. Yes, because when people go, okay, let's go to the meditation, and you close your eyes, the brain says like, what am I doing? What is this? I don't feel comfortable. You know, like the position. You know, so because the brain needs to solve things, and it's not like you come from the normal life and just go to meditate, because that your brain lives that as a trauma.
Oh wow! Yeah.
Yes. So step by step, look at a spoon in a bar.
I was just imagining the title for the interview, like how to quiet your mind. Go to a rave or do ayahuasca. the new way of quieting your mind. Yeah. Which it makes sense. I guess that's why so many people do raves and things, because it's a good way to disconnect and connect to something deeper. You know, that's why they can be very transcendental, raves or even a bar.
The problem is that they don't know what to do next.
What to do next? Yeah.
So they stay.
They stay, yeah. And they keep going every Saturday. Yeah.
Because the it's natural for the humans to look for those kind of things, to get rid of the reality so they can connect with the deeper reality. But the thing is that they don't know how to put it back into this reality. So a lot of people start to want to escape this reality and to live eternally in that reality, because it's amazing. But you can do this reality amazing too, if you bring that feeling here. And I guess the next steps are the hardest one, you know, like to know how to put it here. Yeah.
And I guess the next steps brings me to something I wanted to ask you, because I saw an interview of you 2015, I think, maybe, in an Argentinian channel, and you said that you remember, and that you have a mission here is to support people in remembering why are we here, and connecting and bringing back the information, activating the information. Now it's 2021, like 6 years later, from your experience, and it could be part of the next steps after the rave. Why are we here? Because we're here in this dimension for a purpose, right? And there's a reason why we go through some pain, some headaches and stress, and we forget and we remember. Why are we here? That's something I keep asking myself, and I guess you're a great person to ask, because you remember.
Yes, I don't remember everything though, but because of course each one has its own path, and there's many reasons why you would be here. There are some people that came to help. There are some people that got trapped here. There are some people that came to work for a while. So each one will be different reasons, of course. But mainly, if we go to the main origin,
like a kind of like a bigger picture.
The big picture of everything. The universe is just trying to find different ways to create itself, and we are one of those ways. And there is something that for me was really hard also to hear from my higher self, which is there's no purpose, there's no mission.
I just got goosebumps.
Like,
okay, wow, like what a relief.
Yes, it's a relief, isn't it? Sometimes it's like, no, and sometimes it's like, there's no purpose. And that was a trauma for me, because I was living through a purpose. And my higher self from the spiritual level said, but you created that purpose because you had no idea where to go. So suddenly you realize that the universe, that thing that we call free will, is the ability to be able to create your own purpose. And in the very beginning of everything, when the universe just was this kid creating and playing in the room, there was no purpose. The purpose was to play. The purpose was to create, to manifest, to know itself. And then each one of the pieces was creating its own purpose for its own play. And suddenly we created the earth, and we created humanity, and we created ourselves with purposes. But I guess that the most freely understanding that we can have is that we have created our own purpose. And the only reason we suffer in this purpose is because we don't know how to handle it. Because we lost the way of how to handle it. Because we forgot that we created it, and we give the power to others to create our purpose. And that's why we suffer. So there's no God organizing a plan. It's all of us, God, creating our own plans. And right now, in this physical reality, we are living the results of our planification. So that's why we don't feel free will, because this is the result. It's like we are the apples of the tree.
The apples of the tree, yeah.
Yes, and we are destined to fall down, to create a new tree, of course. But we don't know that. We only see that when we fall down, it's painful.
We only experience the fall, yeah.
Yes, we only experience the fall. And but we have the seeds within to create a new one. You know? So that's, in this falling down, we have to remember that we are part of the tree. But the tree, what is the purpose of the tree? The tree has a purpose. The tree has the purpose of becoming more trees and more trees and more trees, and to feed itself with light and to be grounded on earth. There is no tree saying, I will save the world. Yeah. There's no tree saying, I will be the universe.
Oxygen. I will be the most oxygen producing tree in the world.
No, no. The tree is looking for transcendence through light. And and we are the same, but our transcendence of light is to do something that can help others. You know, like trees gives oxygen, we help others. It's the same thing. We have cultures. Trees doesn't have cultures, but they have communication. We also have communications. So there are different ways in which we are doing our purposes, but we are the product, the final product of our planification. And I guess that why we are here on Earth, well, we all decided to say, what happened if we put all the things in one place? I guess that's the only reason. And then you have thousands and millions of purposes together, creating humanity, creating this planet. And even if I know that the main origin doesn't have a real purpose, and that we don't have to accomplish missions, I do this anyway. I can say, well, if the universe doesn't have a purpose, why should I do this? Because I am part of the universe, and I decided to create a purpose for the universe. And the purpose for the universe is to fix these distortions that we have created when we got lost. So this is not, for me, my goal is not to help people to get into the fifth dimension. I know there's a lot of people saying, we have to go to fifth dimension. No, I don't care. I don't really care about that. My purpose is for people to understand that there are many dimensions, and all of them live in us. And it doesn't matter if you're in the third one, in the fifth one, in the fourth one, in the sixth one, but you have to recognize that there are many. And that if you get lost in one of them, you have partners to help you in others.
Okay.
You know, and what we are doing with all this is just to balance that so we can be multidimensional beings, not to go to the fifth dimension. And
Yeah, but that goes again to what we were saying before. Like people just want to go. People just want to
Yes.
go somewhere else. No, like they want.
well, people are tired of being here.
Yeah.
Of course, this is a heavy planet, but it's a heavy planet if you are heavy.
Mm.
If you are light, it's not heavy. It's fun.
You have tools to experience that lightness.
And the fun.
Well, each one has its own, of course. For some it's music, for some it's art, for some it's meditation. Of course, for each one is different. But I like to enjoy the creation. I like to see the things. You know, like we were talking about this, like traveling and watching the world and seeing the different things and trying to learn something new from someone or something. Or for me, the idea of being happy in this world is to always see the world like a kid, not like a wise person that knows everything. That's boring. When you live the world like a kid, like I know things, but there's so many things to get to know, you know, learning stuff or discovering things from the things that you thought you knew, you know, like when you discover something new from the same things that you know, those things, when you get surprised by doing something different and something different from your normal life, you get something, this energy of discovering something new. And I guess that for me is not to, even if I planify everything that I am doing, I'm always open to what is going to happen. You know, like my goal is not enlightenment. I'm not looking for enlightenment. I'm looking for having fun in the creation. So I do my job, which is teaching and looking for the balance of the things. But the thing that keeps me going on that balance is discovering new things that I don't expect. So having fun, you will know, each one knows what is having fun, but usually is to do something different from what you normally do.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess that's the main clue. It's not to stay with the dogma. When you look enlightenment through Buddhism, for example, Buddhism is looking for enlightenment, and they will reach it, of course. But then what?
Then what? Yes.
Then what? That's it.
That's it.
And then the lighter one says, let's create something new. So I guess that there are many ways to reach, but to live like a kid, learning new things is the most important. It doesn't matter the rest. It's all details. Yeah.
I guess another question that's just coming through is there's lots of people resonating with different archetypes, different beings. We're in Egypt right now, so let's say different gods and goddesses who are familiar to this land. And so is that, how would you explain that? Is that people just tapping into a collective history or different dimensions? Or, for example,
Borrowing the book.
Isis and Osiris, like is that us all going into the Akash and getting those books and receiving information? Perhaps it was beyond our consciousness presently, or how would you explain that? Because there are some specific archetypes that are coming through strong for people, you know, right now.
Yes, because, well, Egypt was the mother civilization of our time.
Mm-hmm.
Atlantis was the mother civilization for Egypt.
Is there a time? Because I know that there's traditional archaeologists will say certain time. What's from your understanding?
Yeah.
When was this timeline?
Well, Egyptian traditions and culture started 4,000 years BC,
Mm-hmm.
approximately, and then the Atlantis civilization was around 12 to 13,000 years ago. So that would be 10 to 11,000 BC.
Mm-hmm.
That was the origin of Atlantis, and then they ended around the Cancer era, Leo era, the end of Leo era, so 7,000, 6,000 BC,
Mm-hmm.
kind of. So there was like 2,000 years of chaos,
Mm-hmm.
the Gemini era, Cancer and Gemini era, miscommunications and conflict.
She's Gemini.
I laughed.
Yeah, so all the tribes going around and you know, it was a mixing of everything. So that was kind of the period. And what happened? For the Atlantean culture, 12,000 years ago, there was no gods. We were the gods and goddesses. Because they understood that the universe is only one thing that was divided, split in many.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we call the attributes of the divine.
Mm-hmm.
And the attributes were also fractalized in different other attributes.
Yes.
So it kept going and kept going like this all the time. So we are the last fractals of the divine. So what they said is, we are a fractalization of the main divine beings that are the attributes of God in the positive and the negative, feminine and masculine aspects. So the priests and priestesses from Atlantis, they were in charge of teaching one attribute. Like, here comes this lady, Atlantean lady, saying, I will manifest the energy of the rising sun, which is the first light of the mother. So she would represent the rising sun, the first light in the horizon,
Mm-hmm.
the mother, related to the star of Sirius.
Mm-hmm.
And we call that Isha, or Inna. That Inna, Na in the skies. So the mother of the skies, that later in Greek they translated as Isis. Okay, so this happened with many. So in the Egyptian tradition, they call the priests gods and goddesses with the attributes of the divine.
Mm.
The Egyptians didn't believe in many gods. They believed that God was one, divided in many gods, which are the attributes.
Mm.
And the shape of a person is because they are people too. So they represented that all of us can become them because they have a human body. In the latest traditions of the Egyptians, they believed in those gods.
Like the separation started to happen, no? Like with
Exactly.
church, that they will
Yeah.
put God there,
Yes.
Yeah.
us here. Okay.
Exactly. They believed in those gods. And then came Akhenaton and said, no. There's only one God, the sun. And the rest are the race of the sun. So he created a new religion. But then he died, and his son, how was he called? Tutankhamun,
Mm-hmm.
was turned into the back into the old religion
Mm-hmm.
as Tutankhamun, and everything started again. And then the Greek came, and they brought the idea of the gods and so on. So everything that happened started to separate the physical world from the heaven.
Mm-hmm.
And the main tradition was not to believe in different gods, was to awake the attributes of God on earth.
Mm-hmm.
So now all the people remembering of the gods of Egypt is not remembering these gods. They are remembering the attributes that resound within, with the information that those gods had. It's not the god, it's the attribute. But we are still ending the Pisces era, living in this dream. So that's why we still believe in gods.
In gods, yeah.
But they are not.
Wow. Yeah, like you saying this, I get so excited because we've been like in this crazy deep amnesia, you know, in some sort of way. We all know, but we forgot, but it's still there, as you said at the beginning. And it's all this like crazy separation of like God's putting our power away, but your work about Yo Soy, the I Am, it's really into like allowing us to remember that everything is within, right? And that we are constantly creating. And instead of looking, oh, I have Isis, I'm gonna pray for her, it's like, no, like embody that attribute. But I think it comes with responsibility, right? It's like stop giving our power away and like really like standing on our ground and saying like, I have the attribute of the rising sun, of the wisdom of thought, or whatever, right? So
we never there was nobody in history that took our power away. No God, no religion, no culture, no imperialism. Nobody took our power away. We gave it away.
we gave it away.
It's very different. We gave it away because we had no idea how to handle our own power. Because we believe that power is to take control, and no, it's not that. So when someone comes and take control, we think it's power. No, control is not power, it's control.
Control, yeah.
So the gods never took our power away. They just said, you have to do this, and we did. So they didn't take the power, we just relayed the power in them. So that's one of the other things that I usually like to explain. We don't have to blame anyone in history for what happened to us. We are responsible.
That's again giving our power away, no? Like blaming the victim mentality. Yeah.
You become like a victim. Oh, poor me. No, not poor you. Be responsible and create another history. Blaming the past won't fix the future. I went to the Vatican once and we did this ceremony in St. Peter's Square, trying to heal with love the
Was
history.
that when the lightnings happened?
Yeah, that story. So we did that, and a lot of people was like, why are you bringing this to the Vatican? Why are you doing this? Or I gave a gift for the Pope to make like this energy transform, and a lot of people were like, why is this guy with the Vatican? You know, like, is he working with them? And I would say, I don't know, as you want. You know, I'm not working with them, but they are humans. And we cannot build this magical Pisces idea of the new world with love if we hate someone. So how can you build a new humanity if you hate part of the humanity? So they are a very important network of the humanity, that they connect the whole humans from the Vatican. So I went to the source to say, we are ready to change. Are you? Do we want to come with us? Do we want to change too? There's something new coming. And it would be nice for everyone, because faith is not going to end, but ways will transform.
Ways will transform.
So people can have faith in Christ in 2,000 years more, but the church won't exist. So do you want to transform the church and to make the faith on Christ in a different way? You know, it's not about going against someone, it's about looking for new ways. And yes, you won't accomplish anything new by hating the other thing, because it's not responsible.
We're doing the same thing, exactly, yeah. Just surrounded by crystals.
Just
Yeah, surrounded by crystals, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's coming to me now. what you said is very relevant about like not hating and not being selective. Like, oh, we're ascending or we're all going to the 5D, but you're not coming.
Yeah.
You know, you're not,
Yes.
you have to wait for the next train, right?
Yes,
It happens
yes.
a lot in the spiritual world. You know, we're like enlightened, but not you. You know.
Yeah.
And
We
the I
don't
am,
want-
as you said, is not I am. It's deeper. It's the I am, like really, the, as a collective oneness. The world, it seems like it's a little bit in chaos, or it's like more than chaos, growing pains.
Mhm.
Things are happening. What have you been feeling? What have you been receiving? Spending every day in the chamber, almost every day, working in sacred grounds. What has been your understanding of what we're going through this 2020? Like, I couldn't expect this happening in 2020, but like
Yeah.
it's been a wild year, and I don't think 2021 is gonna be much less.
Yes. Well, I would say this. The only difference in the whole history and 2020 is that we have social media.
Mm.
There's no worse things happening this year.
Hmm.
We just have Instagram.
We are aware. We are aware of what's happening. Yeah.
8,000 million? How many people? I don't know how do you say it in English. 8,000 millones?
Eight
Billion people on the
8,000
planet? What? 100,000?
How do you say that? The population of the world.
You're with two E's.
There's about 8 billion
8
people
billion.
on the
8
world.
billion, okay,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Because in Spanish is different. So 8 billion people in the world, and maybe most than the half we have social media.
Yeah.
We have this Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and so on. So we can all share data. We can all receive data from everything that is happening around the world. So anything wrong that happens, we will see it immediately
In seconds. Yeah.
in seconds. Yeah, live streaming. So that's the only difference. World War II, the first World War. I don't know what happened in Russia during the Tsars.
Yeah.
What happened? I don't know. The communism revolution, the colonialism. That was worst.
Mhm.
And there was in South America and Central America, the 80% of the 80% of the population died because of the flu.
Mhm.
All of them. That's why it was so easy to conquer. It was not because of war. It's because some Spanish guy did did this, and that's it. So this is nothing. COVID is nothing compared to the flu
Yeah.
in the Americas 500 years ago. So we have social media.
We have
That's the
social-
only
that's
difference.
Yeah.
And we always think that we are the victims of the time.
Mhm.
Humans think that, oh, this is the time. And never is the time, because always happens something new. So what I guess that we have now is the opportunity to know everything that is happening. Before they didn't. Before they had no opportunity to say, hey, we can get together to stop this that is happening there. People from South America can stop something that is happening in the Middle East. People from China can see something that is happening in Europe. I don't know. In the old times, they couldn't. So I guess the most important thing today to talk about is that we are connected. It's not that we are worst. It's that we can see what was happening through thousands of years. That's the only difference. So now we can take responsibility because we can see it. Before it was like, oh yeah, there's a war there. Oh, okay. But now we can see what is happening. We can take action in what is happening. We can talk with the people in different countries. Before it was impossible. And as you see, for me, what is happening is the best, because the reason why we see all the wrong things that are happening in the world is because we are connected.
We're connected. Yeah.
And that was a goal.
It's like there's like no excuse to not know and
Exactly.
to not feel and to be and to see each other as brothers and sisters, because we're all going through the same pains, the same raves, the same ceremony, the same
Exactly.
laughter. Okay, that's yeah.
So now is the moment when we cannot blame others.
Uh,
That now is the moment when we have responsibility. Because I've seen the news yesterday, what happened in Washington. these people taking the capital.
Mm-hmm.
And a bunch of people was able to take the capital. Why billions of people cannot take over republics and change the system? Why do we keep voting when that system doesn't work? When it's just the feudalism of this century.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess this kind of things shows us that we are afraid of change. That we are afraid of losing what we have. And that's the only thing, that's the only wrong thing that is happening in the world right now. Not the wars, not the controls, not the thing, not the COVID. It's us being afraid.
Holding on to the past.
Yes, holding to, oh, before it was better. Or I want to save what I have now. For me, that's the worst thing that is happening. Because, for example, I see all the spiritual people saying we want this world of peace and so on, but they blame the governments for what is happening and so on, and it's not like that. This is the moment when we have the opportunity to take action and to do things, not to stay comfortable in our own places and thinking that everything is going to come back to normal. I guess that's the only difference that we have today. Not the problems, not the conflicts. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah, so it's a great possibility and opportunity.
Yeah.
If we can take capital in DC, we can take the entire world. So let's get together. Let's do it in a very nice and peaceful way.
Exactly.
I think it'll be interesting. At the beginning, Bianca asked you about what are you doing in Giza, but I would like to share with people that this is a project that I am, where you're gonna go through 92 nodes. Is that correct? How many nodes?
I was supposed to.
Yeah.
But the situation of the world made me change. Well, the plan was to be here for a whole year.
Yeah.
But I thought the plan was to travel around the 32 nodes, the main nodes of the planet. That was the main goal. But because of the COVID, all the countries locked, so I couldn't travel. So what I am doing right now is doing this whole year of alignments and explanations about the concepts of the I Am, daily live streaming through Facebook, through YouTube, sorry, and then I will travel through the Kundalini of the world, from North Pole to South Pole, going all around the world to seed this information that we have been working here, because the pyramid here is like an antenna for the whole network. So I'm working with the whole network from here, and then spread it in the Kundalini from Turkey to Patagonia, through all the mountains. And but to do this, we will connect the whole network. And I had some friends that will go to these nodes around the planet, and I will go to the North Pole, and they will be located in different spots in the same day. So we can do a world alignment in the grid of the planet.
Wow.
That would be in August, 8th of August this year.
This year, okay.
Yes.
Wow.
And then the last alignment of everything will be in 2022, February 22nd. 2. Yes. So that day we will make a gathering here in Egypt. 3 days gathering to close the whole project of the I Am.
Beautiful.
That would be.
That sounds good. I think what I'm just before we wrap up, I think what you're doing of living your life in adventure, being guided by your imagination, by your teachings, it's a really how they say in English, a breath of fresh air to all of us, because it's like I think we've been taking life too seriously because we chose to do so. And we cannot blame anybody. But I think seeing your journey and now you're gonna go do more activations, you stay here in Giza, I think it's something that we could all incorporate more into our lives, like really living as a hero.
The adventure,
the adventure,
yeah.
right?
Adventure,
the
yeah.
adventure.
Creating our own purpose that is fun and adventurous for ourselves.
Exactly. Yes, of course. And I was supposed to live this great adventure around the world and going to these spots, but I guess that this was perfect for me to stay in only one place, because traveling through the world for me would be that adventure, like living this thing of the Greek idea of the hero, you know, like this kind of things. But in this way, I'm reaching much more people every day, because otherwise I wouldn't have the connection to do that every day. And I am being able to do something, I guess, much more important, which is to help many people to align every day and to be balanced for the trip, for the journey that we have to do. So now it has much more meaning, because it won't be myself traveling, it would be thousands of people knowing why.
Knowing why.
Yes.
Wow.
So
Yeah, I mean, do you have one last question, B, to us?
I mean, that was really wonderful. Thank you so much. I think the last kind of thing that's coming up is it'd be interesting as you do this work for alignment, and we're always trying to find that place of alignment within ourselves. If there's a tool, like a breath or something you do for yourself, that's a very tangible thing to come into alignment in any moment.
I always say that there are three things.
Okay.
Basic three things in order to you to get started to align, and there are three simple things: one for the body, one for the soul, and one for the mind, for the spirit. The first one for the body would be to pay attention to what you eat. That's the most difficult, and even when you travel a lot, that's very difficult. To pay attention to what you eat, because you become what you eat. So if you eat death, your body become death too. Low vibration. If you eat life, like vegetables and so on, you are much more light, because vegetables are light, eating light. So when you change the way you eat, your body starts to adapt to what you eat. And this doesn't mean that you have to be vegetarian or vegan or whatever. This means that you have to pay attention to what your body is needing. Maybe your body needs meat and you're a vegetarian, and you're not taking care of your body because the body wants meat. So pay attention to what your body is needing, and change the way you eat according to what makes you feel fine. That's the first one. The second one would be breathing. Breathing, the mouth was not made to breathe. It was made to eat. The nose was made to breathe. So breathe in by the nose, breathe out by the nose. And that makes you take the amount of time necessary for your body to process the information of the air, the oxygen. Because if you're just wasting a lot of energy. But when you take it from the nose, you give the correct time to make the whole process. And that breathing is what makes your emotions stay more calm, because it's related with your lungs in your heart chakra. So it balances the circulatory system. So all the blood running through your body is sending an idea to every gland, to every muscle, that we are taking it slow. And that's really important. Just breathing. It's just breathing, being aware of your breathing helps you to balance all the information of your soul, all the emotions. So it's just practicing that. Then if you do it in Kundalini, in yoga, in meditation, it doesn't matter. It's different ways. You can do it walking on the streets, whatever, but just pay attention to your breathing. And the third one for the spirit is to laugh more. Because when you laugh, the energy starts to rise up, so you reach the divine. So sometimes it's hard, but you can tell your body to do that by forcing a smile. Because when you force your smile, your muscles are telling to the nervous system, to the hypothalamus in the brain, and then to the hypophysis, hey, something is happening, he's smiling. You know, and so it sends the idea to the glands to start to create the hormones, endorphins and so on, because you are smiling. So you are forcing your body to feel happy somehow. You know, so basically all emotions are hormones. So if you handle the way in which hormones work in your body, you will rise up your vibration. So laugh more.
That's
and you will
awesome.
be more connected. Then you can choose whatever you want. But those three things are the main thing to all the rest, I guess.
Amazing.
So watch what you eat.
Yeah.
Be
Pay attention to your breath.
present with your breath and laugh more.
Yeah.
You know,
Love it.
my grandma wakes up every morning and she starts ha 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 every morning.
Oh, yes?
Yeah,
That's good.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah. You know, grandmas always know. They say grandmas always follow your grandma. I was just thinking, would you be able to do like a few minute, like guided, like activation for people listening this? Would you feel comfortable sharing with us?
A small alignment?
Yeah, a
Yeah,
small
sure.
alignment. Yeah.
Okay. You can do it. Okay. So sit comfortable as you prefer. Sometimes it's you have to pay attention to first that if you lay down, if you want to lay down, is good also, but you will connect with information of the earth and not with your higher self. So if you sit with your head up, you will be connected with the polarity and the axis of the world and not the energies moving around the world. Okay, so when you want to connect with yourself, it's better to be seated. So you sit, and first what you do is to start touching with your hands, with your fingers, your legs, making a tiny massage, soft pressing, letting the body know that you take care of it, that when you go to the mind, it's just to make it feel comfortable. So you press your hands, your arms. It's like giving some love to the body so it knows that we are taking care of it. And very softly we caress the face, tapping a little bit with the tip of your fingers all around the face and the nose, the lips, the ears, and the head. And as you do it, you start to focus in your breathing, always through the nose, as you just caress the body with the tip of your fingers softly. Just concentrate in the way you breathe and try to be aware that you have to breathe in, to hold the air, and to breathe out the same amount of seconds. If you can only 2 seconds, it's only that. If you can more, even 10, 12 seconds, breathing in 12 seconds, holding 12 seconds and breathing out 12 seconds would be the best. But just pay attention to your body. If you can only 2 seconds, is okay. Pay attention to the air within your lungs, running through the blood, through the heart. Recognize how the air you breathe is running through each muscle that you are caressing with the tip of your fingers. As your brain relaxes by doing this very soft. And whenever you feel comfortable, you just relax your hands and stay calm, just breathing. And softly, you design a smile in your face, smiling as you breathe. Being aware that your spirit is within your body, that your soul lives through your body, that your body is the expression of your soul and your spirit. The three of them are not separate, are one. Is only one being expressed in three different aspects. And as you caress your body, as you become aware of your breathing, as you smile, you put the three aspects of yourself together as one again. And then you recognize, I am. I am. I am. Take a deep breath, hold, and leave it all away, just shaking a little bit your body, stretching and yawning as you come back here and now. Thank you.
Muchas gracias.
Gracias.
Yeah, wow. There's not much to say after that. I'm just gonna soak in that beautiful vibration. We'll share your links for people to find you. The Yo Soy, it's Matias de Stefano channel on YouTube.
No, it's yes, it is, but I am doing all this in the RCM Foundation YouTube channel.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, we'll put all the
I will
links
give
in
you.
the bio. Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah, I just want to say thank you on behalf of obviously myself, many friends that follow you, and yeah, I'm excited to keep following your adventures and to get your activations online. And thank you for the work you do and for making us remember that living a life of a hero, playing like a child, dancing more and laughing more, it's probably one of the best ways to navigate this 3D
Yes.
reality.
Yes.
Thank you
Cool.
so much. It was
Thank
so lovely to listen to you speak. So many things moving within me just from being here and in your presence. So thank you so much. And I'm excited for August 8th next year. Maybe we are one of the nodes. Who knows, that just came, which could be very exciting.
Yes, of course.
So thank you, and all the best. I hope this is one of many.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yala.